Hello everyone, it's Luli, and today I'll be making a review video on a game called Variable Barricade. Now this game was released in Japan in 2019 and I played it I think last year. However, it has been confirmed for localization and has a planned release of next year in February, so February 2022. And yeah, it's funny because every time I make a review recently, it's like it's one of my favorites. But this game truly was fun to play. I remember not being bored at all, even until the end. So again, it's going to be tough to be objective. But I will do the usual, you know, synopsis, system, routes, and then all of that. But note that although I would not consider any of what I include in this video as spoilers, I'm aware that what you may consider spoilers and what I may consider spoilers may not align. So if you're really sensitive and you don't even want to know what the characters look like, then I would swiftly move on. But anyway, let me start. So firstly, the synopsis, or the blurb as I like to call it. So it's a rom-com, so the story is kind of like, what type of thing? It starts off literally with 4 men proposing to the main character, like pretty much. And the story is that there is this rich girl called Hibari, and she basically has been receiving proposals for like a marriage type thing from her grandfather because, you know, she's a rich person's granddaughter, and she is constantly being saying no. She's being like, no, I don't want to get married yet, I'm only 17 or whatever she is. And so her grandfather cheekily decides that it would be a great idea to get 4 trash men. No, I'm not over exaggerating here, they really are trash men, but like in a good way. You'll see what I mean in a moment. And in fact, in Japan they're called damenzu, dame meaning like no, and then men's, you know, being men. So like, not the kind of men that you'd normally go for. They all have their reasons behind the way they are, and yeah, her grandfather basically went around looking for them, put them in a mansion, and said to the main character, look, you know, you have been declined marriage proposals, so what I'm gonna do is you're gonna have to live with these 4 guys and then pick one by the end of the year or whatever the deadline was. And the main character's like, are you kidding me? Because they are all very eccentric. And so yeah, the story is literally the main character having to live with these 4 guys who are constantly trying to win her attention. And I believe, you know, the person who developed it said that there are so many otome games out there where the main character has to work her butt off to try and get the attention of the love interest. So he or she decided to go, you know what, screw it. They have to work for their main character this time, and I really appreciated it because it is amusing. It is quite fun. So that's the synopsis. Now the system, there were a few, not like issues, but something that really frustrated them was that there is like this flowchart system, and you know, you go through each one, and but there's like each, you know how you get like Monopoly boards and they have like each space? Well, you have to click on each space and then skip through the dialogue. There's no like skip to next option or anything, and you have to do that for each square, which I guess some people found a little bit finicky when kind of going through to collect all the endings, or, you know, playing the second route and stuff. So that is something to bear in mind. I personally did not find it that annoying, but you know, I think that's kind of personal preference. The amount of time it took me to complete the game was approximately like 40 hours, I think. The common route isn't that long. I think it took me, I mean, it has been a while, so I can't remember exactly, but I think it was like 4 to 5 hours. And then each individual route was kind of like 8 hours maybe. So like the first route took me, like, you know, the common route and the first route put together took me about 12 to 15 hours maybe. And then the other routes kind of took sort of 7 hours, I think. Yeah, something like that. And so it's not too long, but it's not too short either. I'd say it's a good length, you know. It ends before it gets too long, if you know what I mean. There are three ending types. You've got the best ending, the another ending, and then you've got the bad endings. The bad endings, as you can imagine, are just, you know, endings where her life doesn't go so well or whatever, you know, things that you'd kind of expect. Best ending is like the best ending where they're all living happily ever after. And then another ending isn't like a bad ending, it's kind of like an alternative ending, I guess. So I remember them being still quite happy, like they were not everyone's happily ever after and yay, but it was like happy within reason. It was realistic. I thought, okay, fair enough. And it's because there are two parameters. Basically, depending on what choices you make, you either increase your reasoning / logic type sort of parameter, like reasoning sanity, I guess, or the romance parameter. So if you pick like the right answers, your romance bar increases, whereas if you pick like the incorrect answer, then your reasoning skill increases. And the reason why there are these two parameters is because I think there are 2 or 3 boards per character, like these flowchart things, and at the end of each one, the main character and the ally have this like weird battle schematic, and basically if your reasoning skill is higher, then the main character wins. If the romance skill is higher, then the ally wins. And if the ally wins throughout, then it results in the best ending. If you sort of make it so that the reasoning skill is higher and the main character wins, and it becomes another ending. And so those are the 3 endings, and yeah, it's interesting seeing both endings. It wasn't like uber happy like Cupid Parasite, where even the bad endings were happy, but it is a rom-com, so a lot of it is quite funny. It's a cheerful, relaxed game, but there are bad endings, so you know, you want to keep that in mind when you're playing it. And I think that's the end of systems. So moving on to the route order and, you know, route descriptions, there are 4 characters that you can complete as well as the final route. So you have Shion, you've got Nayuta, you have Taiga, and then Ichiya-san, and then the final route is kind of like learning about the main character almost. Now, the order in which I would recommend playing is, to be honest, Shion, Nayuta, and Taiga is kind of like, I don't think it really matters in what order you play it, but it was nice to wrap up with Ichiya-san to then move on to the truth route. Purely, I can't really say why, but it was just nice. I mean, ultimately it was one of those games where order really doesn't matter that much. But yeah, I would suggest leaving Ichiya-san last, just because it kind of felt nice how he wrapped up the, you know, experience in a way. So the order in which I went was literally the order I said. I'll say it again. I went Shion, and then I went Nayuta, and then I went Taiga, Ichiya-san, then the truth route. So yeah, that's the order I went by. Now, let me go into detail on each character. So as I said, they're all damenzu or trash men. It sounds so harsh, but now they all don't have jobs. They haven't got any jobs at all. So the first one I went for is Shion. Now he is the professional freeloader. And so he doesn't, I guess, need to work, because he's one of those characters where everyone comes rushing towards him to help him no matter what he's doing, and so he doesn't need to lift a finger. And initially it's really funny, because initially I found this character really annoying, and I was like, why is this character annoying me so much? He bugs me, oh, he's so annoying. And then I realized it's because that's like the story of my life ever since, I don't know if it's my like baby face or my puppy dog face, I don't know, but that has been my life in a way. Like, obviously I have done my education, I've done everything, I have done things on my own, and I am learning every day. But in my life, people do tend to, for some reason, flock towards me to try and help me. Now, I really don't know if it's just my face or something, but even in London, where no one talks to you, people will come up to me if I'm on my own and be like, are you okay? Do you need help? Which everyone's like, no one does that in London. I'm like, I know, but it happens to me, so I guess the reason why Shion bothered me so much was because it almost felt like I was looking at myself, and it really irritated me, because as nice as it sounds, it's not a good thing. But of course, in his case, it's like an over-exaggerated version, and there's even good reasons behind it. It's not random. It's because he kind of has this angelic adorable feel where he's the kind of person that you just want by your side to cheer you up, and he does that with Hibari in his route as well, where he's constantly cheering her up, making her feel happy. He's like, oh, you know, you need the you need the healing power type thing, and he's like, oh, did you know if you hug, apparently it helps heal and de-stress, that sort of thing, because she is the granddaughter of this rich guy, so you know she has the like sort of all sorts of stressful things that she has to get through. And you know, I thought all in all it was very sweet the way he was, but there are funny moments where, you know, they'll all be doing something and one of the characters will be like, Shion, you're not doing anything, and he's like, well, if I interfere I know it will go wrong. And so he doesn't help with anything and he's just standing around, and oh god. But yeah, he really is a professional freeloader and he doesn't need to lift a finger, and I think he's perfect the way he is. It's good. And you know, I think if he wanted to he could easily get a job, but he, as I said, he doesn't need to. It's amazing. Yeah, no, but no, he was beautiful. I thought he was beautiful, though I think I remember finding his route slightly frustrating at some points. Now, the second route I played was Nayuta. Oh, bless him. Oh, he's just such a puppy. Like, he's a Genki puppy, right? He's running around, he's going crazy, he's always wanting to make Hibari happy, and he's a puppy. He's like a puppy. He's running around everywhere, he's energetic, he's super strong. I don't know what's going on with him, but he was, and initially he wasn't really my type. When I looked at him I was like, I'm not that into him, like looks wise, but then by the end of his route I was like, this route was really interesting. I wanted to, you know, it was a page turner. I wanted to know what happens next and all of this. And now the issue he has is he is a debt collecting machine. For some reason, well, I say for some reason, there is a good reason. He keeps on racking up debt. Like, he's just got so much debt, and I guess the reason, one of the motives almost for him to get married to Hibari is that he'll be able to pay off his debts. And now that sounds really horrible, but like, I don't think, you'll be surprised that they all have these issues, and if anything, it's very heartfelt. When you learn about like their backgrounds and all this, you're like, oh no, that's so sad, or oh, it just makes so much sense, or you know, so when you go in, you're thinking, am I really gonna enjoy all these characters that are, you know, hopeless men? But gosh, it was, all of them, it was good. But yeah, he's a puppy character, he's always running around, he collects debt. Oh boy. And I kind of almost felt like Hibari felt like she kind of needed to look out for him almost, I think, in the route. Yeah, it was funny. I did find that route funny. Now the third character I played was Taiga. So to start with, Taiga was my favourite looks wise. He has this like wild vibe, and personality wise he's also incredibly confident. He's got this a little bit Ore-sama feel to him. However, he's also got that Hibari can rely on him, confident, sort of like older brother feel, if you know what I mean. So think of like Kuroba from Olympia Soiree, for example, where he has this sort of, you know, a cocky feel about him, but he helps Hibari, so Hibari will go to him and like talk to him about things, and he'd be there giving her advice, and it is very sweet seeing their interactions together. And again, I think there are some things I found frustrating about this route, but I guess that's the thing. This game, each route has quite a bit of a roller coaster situation where you're like, yeah, and then you're like, no, and then you're like, yeah, and then you're like, no, but it's all great fun at the end of the day. But his problem is that he's a crazy gambling addict, and I mean, honestly, I don't think it's an addiction that he can't stop. It didn't feel like that, but he just keeps on doing it because he enjoys the thrill. I mean, okay, I guess that's what all addicts say, right? I can stop whenever. But I think in his case, it's genuinely, he could stop if he wanted to. And yeah, no, he was a good route. Although I think initially he was my favourite, but later down the lines he kind of dropped down. It's not because he wasn't a good character, it's just I didn't enjoy his route as much. And the character that I'm about to talk to just immediately came to first place, which is really funny because during the common route I really wasn't a fan of him. Yes, so that's the gambling addict. He's like the oresama slash older bro, confident, reliable character. Yeah, his route again was good. Now fourth, that's Ichiya. Now Ichiya is... at the beginning, he was so annoying because honestly, like every day, Hibari would come down and he would be like, oh, hello, my princess. Oh, you're looking as lovely as every other day. You're absolutely gorgeous. And he will be like constantly telling her nice things. And honestly, I don't know how they're going to translate it in English, to be honest, because I don't know, it's the way he compliments and talks to her, like chats her up every single day. The way they do it is really well done in Japanese. So I don't know how they're going to do it in English because the different types of ways he chats her up. I mean, I don't know how he's come up with so many. He must have read a book on how to chat women up because the diversity in how he compliments her and how he brings her up is just... I don't get it here. He must have read a book on how to shut up ladies because, yeah, I don't know. And what's really weird about him is initially, honest to God, it's just annoying. And you're like, how am I going to enjoy this route? Because why can he not talk like a normal person? But then you get into his route and you go through it and it doesn't bother you anymore. It's like it grows on you. It's really weird. Like, it's not so bad anymore. The moment you find out why he's the way he is, you kind of go, oh, okay, that makes sense. And you almost kind of accept it and you kind of, it's okay. You don't mind it. It's so weird because the transition is very subtle. You kind of, when you realise you don't mind it. And he ended up being my favourite character. Like, I really struggled picking a favourite character in this game, but I think he's just about higher than everyone else because of a certain scene that happened, and I was like, oh, and also laughing at the same time. Like, you'll know what I'm talking about if you do pick this game up and play it. Like, there was just this one scene and I just found it so heartfelt but funny at the same time. Like, I shouldn't laugh, but I just found it funny. So yeah, he became my favourite. And the issue he has is I don't know how to put it in English, he basically almost committed marriage fraud. So it's all a bit kind of like, I guess, so he almost committed a crime in a way. Now you learn about it in the route and you know it's interesting. I know I keep on using that word interesting, but that is literally what this game is like. The backstories of each character is so well thought out, but in a funny way that it's just fun. Each route is exploring that character and it's lots of fun. Now the final route I will not talk about because, you know, I think I don't want to say, you know, any spoilers or anything, but I can tell you that the final route was very much exploring the main character and who she is as a person. So it was a nice route to end in. Like, so you go through all of them, Ichiya ideally last, and then you kind of finish off with the final route, and that route you do learn a lot about the main character, and I think that's what was so good about it. Now, who would I and would I not recommend this game to? So I would definitely recommend it to those who absolutely adore a rom-com, because like this game had so many moments that were absolutely hilarious. Like, you're watching it and you're like, oh my god, what is going on? You know, I mean, the concept of it is so out there, you know, this poor girl having to live with 4 crazy men. They're all good at heart though, you know, they all have the issues, but they are all good at heart. And I think, so there are these rom-com moments, and then you have like the occasional emotional moments. So it's very much a roller coaster, but all in all it is like a chick flick and a rom-com. Like it was good. So if you like rom-coms, if you want something light-hearted and more sort of comedy-like, then this is definitely a game for you. I would also recommend it to those who like a tsundere girl main character, because she is so tsun. Honestly, it's so nice watching her go from this tsun crazy tsun girl and then gradually over time you see her becoming more dere, and it's so cute. Like when you're watching the development between the couple. You're just like sitting there going, go on Hibari, you can do it, tell him you like him. And it's so cute, like, because she really is Tsun at the beginning. She really struggles to kind of show how she feels and that, but then towards the end she like gradually shyly tells them how she feels and stuff, and it's just like, oh, sorry. I love it how I'm getting more excited about the main character than I am their love interest, but honestly she is that kind of main character where you almost want to have the main character as the ally if you're like into girls or whatever, because she is so cute. I would also recommend it to those who prefer like a contemporary or modern feel, because it is kind of like she goes to school and then she comes back and lives with these 4 guys and you see the interaction between them. So it's not, you know, like a fantasy world like Cafe Enchanté or anything. It's very much modern. Everything that happens is modern and it's kind of slice of life. So that's that. And lastly, I would also recommend it to those who kind of want a game where there's characters with interesting backstories. If you really want 3-dimensionality in your allies, then this is great, because each one is eccentric and they have their own experiences and explanations as to why they ended up and how they came to being one of the potential marriage candidates. And, you know, so if you really like interesting quirky backstories for the allies, and this is quite a good one for you. Now, I would not recommend it to those who are looking for something dark, sinister, angsty. There is very little darkness to these games. You know, obviously they have issues, as all humans have issues and insecurities, so you do touch upon that, but it's not a game where you play it and you're like crying your eyes out every single scene because something horrible has happened. It's not one of those. It's very happy. There are lots of happy, funny moments, and you'll be more laughing and be more like smiley than you would be like crying or feeling emotional. So if you're looking for something that's going to make you cry or is like dark and depressing, then I would not go for this game. I would also not recommend it to those who don't like jobless men. Is that even a reason? I say that, but they all are jobless for like, I see it as a good reason, like I don't blame them. But if you really can't stand the idea of there being these hopeless, jobless men that can't like deal with whatever, then yeah, I may move on, but I don't think that's a good enough reason. I'd say still give it a go, like watch a Let's Play or something, I don't know. But I would also not recommend it to those who want like a mild main character, because if you're kind of one of those who likes sort of reading it from your own perspective, like as the main character rather than looking at it from like, you know, a third person view, then the main character's personality may kind of get in the way because it's so strong. Like she is a Tsun girl, she's not, you know, like Lily or I don't know, a character where they're quite mild and held back. She's eccentric. I mean, she's got a trope of her own, you know, a tsundere trope. So and I believe she's voice acted, which means that, I mean, I think you could turn it off if you want to, but as I said, if you're one of those people who doesn't like having a strong main character, then I probably would avoid this game too. And lastly, I would not recommend it to those who want like more of a fantasy based setting. So if you're looking for fantasy, I would go for something like, you know, Cafe Enchanté or Code Realize or something. This is a very modern slice of life relatable game, so if you're looking for something like magical and or science fiction or fantasy, then I would maybe not go for this, because yeah, this is about a girl going through high school life but also having to live, like the main bit would be watching her live with these 4 damenzu, and yeah, so you know, if you're looking for something more fantasy, then I may look for other games. So that summarizes the who I would and would not recommend to type section. Finally, if I were to give it a rate out of 5, I would probably give it, it's difficult, maybe like 3.8 or 4 out of 5, I think. I've only got a good impression of it. Like when I look back at my playing it, I don't go, oh, but there was this thing or that thing. No, it was just lots of fun. I really enjoyed it, and the general consensus really is that I just yeah, I had a lot of fun. There were laughing moments. There were moments where I felt a little bit like teary-eyed. But as I said, it's a rom-com, a bit like when you watch a chick flick, there are like the ups and downs, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it was just good fun. The story was interesting. It was just, yeah, it was funny. I don't know, I just can't really say anything negative about it for some reason. I just remember having fond memories and going through it like really quickly because I enjoyed it so much. And yeah, no, again, struggling to be objective. I guess that's why I have the who would I not recommend section, because otherwise in every game it'll be like, it's great. Like, you know, oh, this is what happens when you're an otomegame addict. But yeah, one unfortunate thing is that the butler is not an ally, and that makes me really sad because you don't get many butlers in games, and he was a good butler, and I thought it was quite fun, like the interaction between him and Hibari. Like, she really relies on him because she struggles as a girl to like find friends or rely on people because she's so like, I need to be strong, I'm this, you know, responsible girl, I really need to be strong. So she really struggles to find friends. She's got like one best friend, and even that was because her best friend kept on, you know, pestering her and making her, you know, interact with her type of thing. And the butler, I think even the butler at the beginning she didn't really speak to, so she's this character that really struggles to rely on other people and be friends, and so she really relies on this butler, and the relationship is really sweet, and I really liked it. But yeah, so again, I'll say it, general consensus, good. I enjoyed it. It's not a perfect game, don't get me wrong, but I can't really say anything too negative about it. It's just, it was a fun experience. But you know, that is because I like rom-coms, I like happy games as well as dark ones, but you know, I do like happy games, and the artwork is really pretty. I do love the artwork. It's I think it's gorgeous, distinct but in a good way. I thought it was quite pretty. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Note that I do have a Discord, so if you want to join and interact with other otome fans, then it's perfect. But yeah, I think that's it. Again, thank you, and hopefully I'll see you in another one of my videos. Bye!